Thank you, everyone. My name is Zac Morgan, and I am an adult services librarian with the Wake County Public Library System. I'm also a founding member of Library Workers United, which is our network within UE 150, organizing public sector library workers across the state.
Yes, sir.
A little bit of fast and dirty history about what we've been doing the past few years. Our initial organizing committee formed in the Durham County Library System in roughly 2022 when I was an employee over there as well. That started after we had reduced hours after the COVID lockdown. The library had been shut down on Sundays for a couple of years. The director at the time wanted to open back up without filling our huge number of empty positions and without expanding staff hours. Staff put their foot down and said no extra hours without extra staff. We put out a public petition and called on the people of Durham to write into the county manager and the county commissioners, and we put a stop to that real quick. Durham County Library remained closed on Sundays. For a number of years. In a couple of years later, in spring of 2024, I got my current position at the Wake County system and brought the union with me. So no organizing existed at that time. Myself and a couple other co-workers started having meetings in March, and by a year later, we had already won a couple of small actions in individual branches. At my own library, we had experienced severe flooding that had never really been addressed. They had some hurricanes a few years back filled the walls with water, and they fixed that by punching holes and letting the water drain out and sitting some box fans in there and just leaving it. We got constant complaints from staff and patrons about the air quality. People had respiratory illnesses pretty constantly. And general services, we put in a mold test request. They dragged their feet for months. Didn't do anything, so we said, screw it. We're going to buy our own mold test. We're going to do it ourselves. And luckily, we didn't find anything toxic. No black mold. There was tons of mold, but nothing that was killing us actively in that moment. So we got the answers that we needed. Additionally, we had some other wins in the Oberlin branch over by NC State, some around poor scheduling issues when we're open 7 days a week. 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. most days. When we work the weekends, we want to have some regular day off during the week, and they told us, nope, can't have Fridays anymore. The staff there did a open letter and a walk on the boss and got that reversed immediately. This was all when we were still pretty much underground, organizing not in the public. In the beginning of last fiscal year, July 2025, the county decided that they were going to cut our temporary staff hours by over 30% across the system. The Wake County Library System has roughly 600 rank and file employees. At least 2/3 of those are temp workers. We have not had any real addition to permanent staff in over a decade. And the county had just sort of been putting Band-Aid after Band-Aid of just hiring temps after hiring temps, until they realized they exceeded their own budget, and then they just pulled the rug out from under us. Understandably, this pissed off a lot of people, and we decided to go public. We started wearing our buttons on the floor. We started circulating our own petition amongst our coworkers. Before we even finished collecting signatures, admin got wind of that and said, hey, we're going to do a staffing survey. We hear your concerns, so we're going to get the experts to come in and tell us how we can fix this. Wouldn't happen without that initial pressure from us. Over 200 of our coworkers ended up signing that petition, which was huge considering that none of them had even heard of the union until we started visiting these branches and introducing ourselves to folks. There's a lot of fear, a lot of, misinformation out there. A lot of people saying, aren't unions illegal? We can't really do anything without collective bargaining, yada, yada, yada. We have been proving them wrong since. We delivered that petition in December of last year. They ignored it, as usual. We started going to the county commissioners and speaking out to them. They said, oh, we love the libraries. We appreciate y'all so much. They didn't reply to any of our emails. They would not sit down and have a meeting with us. So we started showing up at the public budget hearings. Just this past May, we had our first public rally outside of the public budget hearing, where we had over 40 library workers and community supporters come out to speak on behalf of library staff. We also talked to the press for the first time, and the NNO put us on the front page that week. Again, budgets are tight. They said, oh, yes, we love the libraries, but there's nothing we can do for y'all. I'm so sorry. The state is stealing all of our property taxes. We asked, how many millions of dollars do we give away to private companies to incentivize them to come to the Triangle? Have y'all considered maybe pulling some of that funding to fund public services? We have not won any hours back for our staff, but the fight continues. And in that time, there's been other victories along the way. Just this past June, for Pride Month at the Durham County Library, there was a huge fiasco y'all might have seen online where the Durham Library Director said, hey, it's Pride Month. We're not allowed to have pride displays celebrating the LGBTQ community here in Durham. Wow. This was obviously a huge mistake. An anonymous coworker, not one of our members, put out a message about this on the local social media that blew up. It had Nida Alam, one of the county commissioners, chiming in. People were having public rallies. We put out the Durham Organizing Committee specifically, put out a public letter, and within 24 hours, those displays were put back up, and they shut up about trying to censor our libraries. As y'all might know, libraries and public schools are in a somewhat unique position, especially here in the South, because not only are we fighting on the front of labor, but also on these what are called culture war issues, where we often find ourselves a target of far-right political groups saying that queer people or trans people or just public educators in general are trying to groom children, trying to push an agenda on the public. And we face constant harassment at our jobs, both from these political actors and just from, people acting out in general in the library. It happens, but we don't have proper security. We don't have a lot of things that we need to really protect ourselves on the job. So there's a lot we still have to fight for. Right now, officially, we have 2 organizing committees in Durham and Wake County, but we are expanding our network of library workers across the state. We are actively mentoring sort of burgeoning organizing committees in the Orange County Public Library System, Chapel Hill Public Library. We have contacts in Chatham County Public Libraries. We have been building with our public school librarians in WCPSS, DPS, but also in our universities like UNC, Wake Tech, and NC State. And most additionally, we have got some new at-large members from the state library, which is actually the official library of the state of North Carolina attached to the state legislature. So across all levels, from the city to the county to the state, there are library workers that we want to build with together. We still have a long way to go, and we might still be small within our own local here, but we have been growing rapidly in the past 2 years, and we thank you for your time and for being in solidarity with us. So we look forward to continuing to build our union together alongside all of y'all and all the things we can accomplish until next convention. Thank you, everyone.